Good morning, everyone. It's Miss Finnegan here. Happy Friendship Friday. Today is Friday, May 1st. We have made it to May. That is kind of amazing. And what I really hope is that May brings us a lot of good luck and a lot of great weather and a lot of happiness and health because we really need all of those things right now. So before we get started, let's jump into our quote of the day. Hello, May. Today's quote for Friendship Friday says, "The world is round so that friendship may encircle it." Of course, we have to make our quote in honor of our Friendship Friday today. So as you can see right here is the post to our Google Meet slides. And when it is your time, please pop on for Friendship Friday to chat with your friends for about 15 minutes. And I'm really excited to see you all. Besides doing that today, let's pop into reading, writing, math, and social studies to see what we have going on today. For reading today, we are going to be pretending to be the teacher. So you all get to be me today. You are going to write 2 questions the teacher would ask about what you read. How would you answer them? Try to make them challenging. Make your students think. Okay, so you are going to pretend that you are teaching about your book. So I know a lot of you are reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So if I were George, because I know George is reading that right now, and I know Mackenzie has read it in the past, and many of you have read it. I know Akarsh reads it, Holden, a lot of you. You might say in your question, "Class, I want you to think about the character Greg. What do you think Greg would do if," and then maybe you can make up a scenario from your book. Or maybe I think the one character that's kind of the mean character is Roderick. Maybe you could say something along the lines of, "Do you think that Roderick will ever change? Why or why not?" And then guess what? You have to answer the question too. So you can't make your questions too hard. So here are some examples that we did to talk about Winn-Dixie. One question you could ask is, how did Opal become Winn-Dixie's owner, and how did the dog get its name? Oh, what a good question. Well, we know that Winn-Dixie followed Opal into a store and the manager said to call the pound. He didn't want a stray dog in his store, so she couldn't let him go to the pound. So she said the dog was hers. She named him after the grocery store. And you can read the second one too. One more thing I want to show you about this is if you're stuck and you can't find any questions you might want to do in your book, you can listen to this short story again. It's called A Day's Work. I know Mrs. Toledo read it to you a few weeks back when we were still in school. It's about the little boy and his grandfather who are looking for work, and they end up planting weeds and unplanting flowers, and it becomes a whole thing. So if you want to use that one to do your work, you can. Okay, looking forward to seeing you guys be the teacher today. Now we're jumping into writing realistic fiction. I love reading about your realistic fictions, and a really great job to everybody who went back and created really amazing leads for their stories. If you listened to my story yesterday or my morning message, you read my introduction and then you heard my problem. And my problem paragraph was about how Casey heard that they were going to all go to the lake at camp, but Casey couldn't swim. So today's assignment is you have to try to think of ways how the character could solve the problem. I think the easiest way to do that is either you can have your character talk to themselves, or you could have a character talk to another character. That's kind of what Mrs. Woola did in hers. So I chose to have my character talk to themselves and try to think of a solution for what she could do to try to avoid swimming. So let me show you how she tries to figure out ways to solve her problem. And I'm kind of like building the suspense. We call it building tension, kind of like a staircase. The story is getting a little bit worse in her mind before it gets better. If you remember from Winn-Dixie, we called that a story plot mountain. And the top is the climax. And we're getting things build and build and build until we reach the top. So listen to what Casey's going through and how she's trying to talk to herself about how to solve the story problem. Casey knew she had to think of something. She did not want all the kids at camp to know she could not swim. She was 10 years old. They would make fun of her. So she rambled off ideas in her head. As you can see here, guys, I actually made my words italic and I made them a little bit of a fancy font so you can show how that's the thoughts in her mind, okay? Okay, I will tell everyone I forgot to pack a bathing suit, she said to herself. Quickly, she realized her suitcase was already open, displaying 6 brightly colored bathing suits. That wouldn't work. I could go to the bathroom and just never come out, she thought in her mind. Finally, Casey knew what she would do. I know! I will tell Faye I have a stomach ache. She slowly walked over to Faye. She kept her eyes and head down because she was scared to look her counselor in the eyes. So she's going to go and lie to her counselor that she has a stomach ache. Now I wonder what I should do in the next chapter when she really solves the problem. I think I'm going to have her be honest and see what she does with that. But that's her trying to solve it. So that's what you guys are going to do today. How can your character try to? I think having a conversation with themselves to brainstorm how to solve, or a conversation with another character to brainstorm how to solve. That might be the best way to do it. Moving on today to math. Math today is actually kind of short. You have a video. You have only 2 practice problems here. This one we left blank. This one here is your examples. We're still doing fractions, but we're doing fraction circles, which I think you guys might actually be more comfortable with looking at circles. We've already done strips, and then there's also going to be fractions on a number line. I added red lines here to show you the 2 compared fractions. So 1/4 equaling how many eighths? If you follow my red line, the answer is below. 6/8, if you go to 6/8, it will tell you how many fourths. 2/4, if you go to 2/4, the red line will match it up, okay? And then when you're finished, you can play a math game or go on IXL. Almost all of you have been on IXL. A few of you haven't. So if you haven't been on IXL, please go on today. My friends who have not done it, I did put on your slide, you should go on IXL today, and I put your username and password pasted right on your slideshow. So thank you for my friends who have tried it. Last but not least, I think you're going to love me for this social studies assignment today. Guess what? You're playing quizzes. All you have to do is click here. You do not need a password because I set it up in a certain way. So you're going to start your game. You're going to enter your name. It looks like some people already started to play. There we go. You're playing quizzes today, which is super fun. Okay, everyone, just remember it's Friendship Friday, so if you know your group time, or if you don't, go into the slides and look. They start at 10:30, 11:30 is the next one, then, no, 10:30, then 11, then 11:30, and then 12, right? Let's double check, because now Miss Finnegan is getting confused. Let's see, we'll go over that really quick before we go. Going into our Google Meet chats. My first group is, yes, at 10:30, then 11, then 11:30, and then 12. I am excited to see you there. I will make sure that I post a Flipgrid if you want to ask questions. I will make sure I will try to look for in the comments, but do remember I'm going to be in Google Meets all day, so you might not get me live today. And also, don't forget, listen to James and the Giant Peach. The story is done, and I'm going to start to post a new story read by either Mrs. Zula or Mr. M. Okay, everyone, see you soon. Bye.